Hi, and welcome to this week's EFT sequence. So this week I'm doing the sequence on all of the feelings and emotions associated with having to raise something with people that might result in conflict, or setting boundaries with people about how you want to be treated. So if someone has done something to you that doesn't sit right, or you don't feel respected by, or just feels a bit shady, and you want to raise it with them, but you just really struggle with being able to do that, this is the EFT sequence for you. So people pleasers, conflict avoiders, passive aggressiveness, hopefully this will help. So I've done this based on a situation I was going through, and based on the fact that as an adult I will rarely raise an issue with people out of fear of the conflict it could result in, or that it might have negative the fear that it might have negative consequences on me down the track. And it comes back to, particularly as a woman, I think, as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, if you reacted to something that somebody did that you didn't feel respected by, you were often told that you were being oversensitive, or you were being silly, or to just get over it, or it wasn't a big deal. Your feelings were completely invalidated, and they weren't invalid. And so, but you learnt then that standing up for yourself, setting a boundary about how you expect to be treated, was something that was just dismissed. And so, or it resulted in other people getting upset or not being able to take accountability for something they did, or that you perceived them to have done, that wasn't right, that was shady. And therefore you had to be responsible for how they would feel from it as well, or be worried that, or have all this anxiety and fear about what would happen if you had the audacity to say, hey, what you did didn't feel good and it doesn't sit right with me. So after recently experiencing something like that, I thought that it would be a good time to do some tapping on it and see where this session goes. So if this is something that you resonate with, I hope this helps you. As always, you generally tap where I'm tapping and repeat what I'm saying. If you have your own language that you feel resonates more strongly with you, your language is always more powerful, so please use your words, your own words, if you want to. Otherwise, you can just repeat what I'm saying. Have a pen and paper with you so you can note down anything that comes up, any emotions, any thoughts, any physical sensations in the body, and the intensity that they are at. And probably have a drink of water with you as well. As always, you can always reach out to me for more information or more help through my social media channels, and I do offer one-to-one sessions and personalised EFT sequence videos for your particular challenge. So, having said all that, let's get going. I should say at the start, I don't really have a plan for where this is going. I generally don't, but particularly with this one, it's just something that I'm going through at the moment, so I thought I would tap on it. So we'll see. We'll see what comes up. Even though I'm feeling really conflicted about setting a boundary, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm really struggling with the concept of speaking up for myself, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though demanding respect and calling someone out for being shady feels like a really difficult thing to do, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I feel really disrespected. A situation where I haven't been treated fairly or right has occurred, and it just doesn't sit right with me. Something happened from a treatment from someone I respect and trusted. They've done something that's not terrible, but crosses a line of whether it's acceptable, whether it's fair, whether it's the kosher thing to do. It's just sitting heavy in my chest. I have this anxiety in my chest about it. The disrespect on its own does not feel good. Like, that feels heavy in my body. It's like, and there's this pressure behind my eyes from it. This tension all throughout my body when I think about it. Just feeling disrespected and let down. It just doesn't feel good. I feel a bit sad about it. It's lots of feelings, actually. Frustration, sadness, insecurity. All of this tension sitting heavily in my body, physically weighing me down. Just all these emotions I can't shake from this. But it's also bringing up all this conflict about whether I say something and whether I stand up for myself. And that's bringing up even more anxiety about the situation. Because what if there's a fallout from that? What if I say something to the person that I feel disrespected by? It could potentially have an impact of damaging the relationship further, which I don't want to do. It could mean things that are organised for the future fall through, which is also something I don't want to happen. But not saying something makes me feel like a doormat and like I'm just letting people disrespect me. And that doesn't feel good either. Like, that has this strong physical feeling as well. Like, that actually has like this constriction in my throat, like this sensation in my throat. And still that pressure behind my eyes when I think about not saying something. Because it comes back to that I've spent most of my life doing this, or being mocked if I do it. Mocked and disregarded and told I'm dramatic or oversensitive, and I'm a Cancerian, so I am. But in the words of Taylor Swift, I am dramatic. And there will be no explanation. There will just be reputation. No, okay. moving on for all the Swifties out there. And I'm just really conflicted about what to do. And I know it's not serving me to feel this conflict within my own mind, because it's physically manifesting as stress and anxiety in physical ways in my body. And I just don't know why I should feel so scared. That's what it is. It's fear. It's fear. And I don't know why I should feel so scared of standing up for myself. Like, if I don't, who will? If I don't, and I know and I believe absolutely, and this is what I would tell my children or other people in my life, that there are ways to raise something with someone if you feel that you haven't been treated right, that are appropriate, and that can lead to conflict being managed in a calm and adult, mature manner. I do believe that. But why is it so scary to actually do it? There's so much talk these days about setting boundaries. In what you will and won't tolerate for yourself. And it's so easy to have those boundaries quite clear in your mind, but when it actually comes to implementing them, it's really scary. Standing up to someone, even in the most appropriate and mature of ways, just brings up this, it's actually a physical reaction, this visceral reaction of fear within my body and my mind. Like, there's so much anxiety attached to doing this. And it feels so much safer to just avoid doing it and be a doormat. But that doesn't feel good. Like, that doesn't bring me any self-pride. And this does seem to come easily for other people. And it's something I really respect in other people when they are able to speak up for themselves. And it's something I would love my children to be able to do as they're growing and as they're adults, and not have them be dismissed or be told that they're dramatic or oversensitive. Because we are all entitled to our feelings and our emotions. And to set the line of what's acceptable in how we're treated by people, especially people that are supposed to be important in our lives, or friends or family. So why am I so scared to do it? What's conditioned me to be so scared that the fallout is not worth the boundary setting? What am I so afraid of? What am I so afraid of that it's physically manifesting a reaction in my body? That it's consuming my mind? Because it's going to consume me either way. If I send a message or make a phone call and raise the issue, then I'll be sitting there waiting for a response and stressed about what the response is going to be. And that'll consume me. And that comes with so much anxiety. But if I don't, I'm just going to not be able to stop thinking about it because I didn't speak up. I didn't take action about something that I felt really strongly about. But is it worth it? And I think it's because it's someone I know and consider a friend. That's what makes it so hard. It's so much harder when it's someone you know or are close to. If a stranger did something to me in the street that I felt caused me disrespect, something serious, I would stand up for myself. I would say something to them. Like I would say, don't do that, at the very least. So when someone in my actual life does it in a way that causes me to feel disrespected emotionally, why am I so scared to stand up for myself? I am a grown adult. I'm not scared of this person in any way. I think it's the fear of not knowing necessarily how someone will respond, even though I can predict that fairly well as well. But whether it does do too much damage to move on from, it's that unknown. And will it make me feel stupid if they respond and say something that makes me feel further belittled or small or immature? Will that be worth it? All these thoughts and emotions flowing through me, all these physical sensations. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries. Speaking up for myself. Speaking up for myself feels really hard. Really hard. Speaking up for myself. Asking for respect and proper treatment. Why does that feel so hard? Is it something that I feel like I'm not entitled to? I don't really think that's the case because I think everybody's entitled to it. It just feels like I just can't be bothered. And like, why can't people just do the right thing and treat people nicely? Like, why do we have to go through this? It's frustrating. There's definitely like a level of frustration here. And the reality is that in order to reframe this and let go of it, I have to make a decision. Because either I take an action that results in me saying something to someone and then I feel, I will feel proud of myself. Or I make a decision to not say something. To just let it go and know that in time I will probably forget about it and I will get over it. But it'll be another scenario where I just let it go. And if I don't break the pattern, it will always keep coming back. It will keep happening. Not necessarily with this particular person or in this particular situation, although it could. But the concept alone of being disrespected will show up again and again and again in my life until I take action to stop it. It's definitely stepping outside of the comfort zone, which feels really scary. So if I tap into my mind, if I really feel into my body, when I think about the scenario where I do stand up for myself, how does that feel in my body? If I imagine that, if I visualize that. It feels scary to start with, the actual doing of it. But I think there'll be a relief once I've done it. And the chips will fall as they will. Hopefully the best outcome would be that we have a mature, rational conversation and are able to see each other's points of view. If that can't happen, then it means future commitments with this person and a friendship with this person potentially don't exist, which has an impact on other people. And that's not ideal. Part of me genuinely believes that we would be able to put it aside to do those things and just for the greater good, even if we can have some conflict resolution in the meantime. But that would be the one outcome. That's a potential outcome that I have to accept. Or the other option is to not say anything and just let it go. Act as though it's all okay to be treated this way. I can instantly feel in my body that that doesn't feel right. It feels easy, like it's the easier thing to do in theory, easier for the greater good, so to speak. It means that me dealing with this situation will just be a bit more drawn out because I will be more obsessed with it internally for a while. Whereas confronting it will actually probably result in resolution quicker, but then it'll be between me and someone else. Whereas not confronting it will just be an internal thing for me to deal with, which feels safer, I guess. And is safe always the best option? I mean, not saying something means that future commitments will still go ahead. But then in planning in future commitments with this person, will I feel like I can ever have a say, or will I feel respected? Do I want to go ahead with future commitments that way? Because again, that will be for the sake of this person and other people that those commitments impact, not to my benefit. I mean, it will be to my benefit still, but it won't be I won't be going into it with the best mindset and perspective and energy around it. So that's not a great outcome either. I'm still so conflicted. So conflicted. What do I do? Do I speak up for myself? Do I speak up for myself? Do I set the expectation to people in my life about how I should be treated? And whatever happens, happens. Do I? Do I risk stepping out of the emotional comfort zone? Do I speak up for myself? Do I speak up for myself? Just going to take a moment here. Take a deep breath. Close my eyes for a minute. You can do this as well. Just taking the moment there to just be really still and not let any other. Now that I've released a lot of that, my mind feels a lot clearer. So taking that moment there with a clear mind from the tapping to really feel into what I feel is right and what decision is right for me, and if it's okay to speak up for myself and set those boundaries about how I expect to be treated and respected. And hopefully whatever your situation is, you're feeling lighter about it, at least light enough, and that you've released the physical sensations and some of the brain clutter and the brain fog around it to be able to decide what action you want to take about it. I think that's where I'm getting, but I think I might just do another round just to really release some more of that. Still not entirely sure what I want to do. I do feel a lot clearer and a lot lighter in my mind and body about the situation. I don't feel so emotionally tired about it. Now it's just a matter of weighing up what outcome I want from it and practically what those outcomes will mean and what they will look like. And none of the outcomes feel now like they're so terrible. But there's still like a little bit of tension about it remaining just because it's not resolved, I think. Still a little bit of pressure behind my eyes. A little bit of tension. So I'm just going to tap on that and try and release that further from my system, from my nervous system. It's pressuring my eyes. A little bit of tension in my shoulders when I'm still thinking about what I want to do, what I should do. It's a terrible word, should. That should brings up a shuddery kind of feeling because I don't like the word should. So it's what I want to do, what I feel I should do is right. What's right that I feel is right to do. Just want to choose to put this aside for the moment, because I feel like there's more that needs to settle within my mind about it. And so even though I feel almost ready to make a decision, I think that for now I just want to consciously choose to release the strong hold that this is having on me. I think there's some further work that I need to do here. Perhaps more tapping on the conditioning that has led me to having this fear of conflict or speaking up for myself. I think that's a separate thing that I need to tap on. And that's something that I probably need to do separate from this video and in depth further. So in a sense that almost needs to be put aside for the moment. I'm going to choose for right now to release the strong hold that this particular situation is having on me. I know that I am safe and protected whatever decision I make. I know that it's safe to think rationally about this. I know that it's safe to let go of the emotion holding me to this. And I know that whatever the outcome will be from whatever decision I make regarding this, whether I speak up for myself or whether I don't, everything that happens for me. There is a lesson from everything, and whether I decide to speak up or whether I don't, that is my decision and I am empowered to make that decision. It's not the strong emotions around this that are holding on to me, and it's not the emotions making the decision for me, and that feels good. That feels like a weight off my shoulders. Because either way, it's my power. I'm making the decision from a clear and focused place, from a place of rationale, and that feels good. Because really it doesn't matter what decision I make, and it doesn't matter what decisions I have made in the past, or it doesn't matter that I haven't spoken up about things in the past. I can only focus on what I'm doing for this situation and how I feel going into this situation. And that realization on its own feels really empowering. So I release now all of the strong hold and the strong emotions I'm having about this situation, about this decision as to whether to speak up for myself or not. I'm releasing fear from my body because that fear is not serving me. I'm consciously stating that I'm choosing to let go of all of that now and remove it from my mind, body, and spirit, so that I can rationally weigh up and decide whether speaking up is right for me in this situation. Because in some situations it might be, and in some situations it might not be. And I think I'm leaning towards, in this situation, just having faith and trust that speaking up for myself and will be more rewarding and more beneficial to me than not doing so. I think that setting that boundary for myself and letting other people know how I expect to be treated and how I wish to be treated will serve me further. I feel like it's just that time in my life that I need to do that, or this is a time in my life that I need to do that. And that actually feels good. Now I just have to do it. Despite the fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway, right? And by that same token, it is okay in some circumstances if I decide to not speak up because it may not serve the greater good, or it may not be worth it in the long run. Either way, I choose to forgive myself for any time in the past where I haven't done this. And I choose to trust that I have the capability and the strength to deal with and cope with whatever comes from whatever decision I make, and from speaking up for myself, for setting a boundary. I choose to really trust that it's all going to be fine and I'm safe. And that trust feels really good. And I'm going to thank my mind and my ego for trying to protect me with all of these emotions. But just I'm letting it know now consciously, it's okay. I'm safe. You don't need to be scared. I don't need to be scared. My ego can step back for a moment and it's all safe. Having said that, I'm now letting go of all of the fear around speaking up for myself. I'm releasing it from my mind, my mindset, my future, releasing it from my present, because it doesn't serve me. I choose now just to let it go. So just take a deep breath in. Shake anything out that you need to shake out. Just felt like that's needed right now. And if speaking up or making a decision to speak up and set boundaries for yourself is something you've struggled with or you are currently struggling with, then I hope that this tapping really helped you. And if you want some further help, if anything did come up for you then, like it did with me, that I think I need to go and tap further on, if that happened for you, if anything deeper, more layers came up then for you and you would like some help working through that, please reach out via my socials. And until we tap again, take care.